We are 1,500 miles into our factory tour road trip, and we are here at Humminbird in Eufaula, Alabama. And man, do we have a morning for you. We're going to be running through a lot of different departments. I need to go find my point of contact, and he's going to tell us what we're going to be doing today. Let's hop in. Oh, wow. Okay.
So this opens up into our employee entrance break room area, but this is kind of our main mall area for all our employees.
Yeah.
But what I want to show you is where we came from. So this is our history case here. So this is the first Humminbird product.
There it is.
So,
how did this work real fast?
Yeah, so this was, so there's a motor in there that spins a LED bar.
Okay.
So based on the sonar response from it, it gives you just a color. So the darker the color, the more hard, dense that object is.
All right.
So it just spins. And then when you see that dark red color, that's where your bottom is.
Got it.
And so then everything in between there, you have to interpret what that may be based on your colors, because the lighter that object is,
sure,
the more dense or less dense it is.
When did these come out?
1975 was when this first one was produced or manufactured, 1975.
All right.
So then you just kind of grow through. So when you get to the LCR, well, we actually started getting a display on there.
Yeah.
That was around the 1985 area.
Okay, I was just born when these started coming out.
Me too. So when I first started here, I've been here 20 years. So when I first started here, we had just started the color screen option. So where the Matrix series starts at, that was our first color option.
Okay. This one fascinates me. Is this rolling paper?
It is. Yep.
So you have to have a roll of paper in there.
That is true. So that. So
I mean, it looks.
Think about trying to fish with that on you.
Give one second. I gotta roll.
It doesn't really last.
Rolls of paper. Oh man, I love it. Dexter, you fitted me out. I don't understand why I'm wearing this. Why am I wearing this?
Yeah. So these are ESD smocks. So we deal with a lot of electronic components.
Yeah.
Some of those components are sensitive to static. So it could zap it, stop it from working correctly, or cause damage to it. So these right here take all that static, dissipates it off of your clothes. You know how you get out of your car seat sometime and you go to touch that door and it immediately shocks you.
Yeah, it gets me.
This will take that off of you. So this is the end. So we got to get to the front.
Yep.
And then we'll start and work our way back through.
All right, I wasn't expecting this, not gonna lie. There's a lot going on.
Yep, a
lot of technical stuff going on.
We take pride in our facility. So, you've used our products.
Yep.
How tech savvy those are.
Yep.
We put that same amount of focus and innovation into our manufacturing processes also. So what we have here on our left is, in order to build the product, we gotta prep everything. So this is our prep area where we prep all of our parts. So we got humidity controlled chambers for those sensitive parts that doesn't like humidity.
Okay.
And then we kit all of our work orders. So if we want to build Helix one day, we kit all that, prep it, get it ready. We got Explorer, we'll kit it, prep it, have it ready to go to the lines.
Yep.
So all this is staging for what we got coming up next. So we have 3 lines and a proto line. So all this is just getting ready to go for our next job.
There's just machines working everywhere right now.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah. I have no clue what I'm looking at. It looks complicated.
Yeah, so we'll dig in a little bit to that, but yeah, we love our technology.
Yeah. Well, I love your technology, so this is good.
So like I said, we want our product to be the best, but we want the way we build our product to be the best also.
Yeah, so we're in the manufacturing plant where you guys literally, from the circuit board to the finished product, it's all made here.
Everything's made here, Eufaula, Alabama.
I like it.
Yep. So we're going to go down what we call our lines 2 and 3. So we'll start here. This is where that bare PCB comes in. So I'm going to stay only on our handle corners, but that is just bare PCB.
There it is.
Nothing on it, raw, all designed from the guys who work in the building. Y'all just come from down the hill.
Okay.
So we laser mark our barcodes into those boards.
Yep.
We are heavy on traceability. So we want to make sure, we want to know everything, where that board goes, and what happened to it.
Okay.
So we laser mark it, then we start that process of going through all of our manufacturing. So we paste print our solder paste onto that board.
Okay.
So now we can get a bond to where we can put our part on, and then that bonds to the board, and as we get to our ovens, you'll see how that flows and makes that solder connection.
Okay.
So these machines here, there's all that placement of the parts. So you have all the reels of parts here.
Yeah.
This machine has 4 heads on it, so it's working on 2 boards at one time.
Okay.
So you'll have it picking up parts over here while it's putting down parts over here. It'll go pick up parts, this one will put down. So it's just constantly back and forth, picking and putting.
That looks like a monster to work on if something goes wrong.
Well, we got a lot of good people who knows how to keep these running. So Miss Sant here is loading up some new parts here.
Okay.
But you'll see some of them moving as we go down here. So this is all of our bottom side manufacturing here. So once we put all those parts on, then we have to heat it. So,
okay, these are like little ovens.
Yeah, so as it's running through the oven, it'll heat it, get it to that melting point.
Yeah.
As soon as it gets to that melting point, we immediately cool it down. So now it becomes a solder bond on that part to the board. So then after we put all those parts on, now we got to just make sure that we're, everything we put on there, everything's in the right place, the right parts, right color. So these machines here are fully automatic. They are inspecting everything that we put on there, make sure it's all good in the right place, soldered correctly. Yeah. No person here.
I was about to say, like, how many hands from the time it gets down there? I don't see a lot of humans.
One hand.
One hand.
One hand.
All right.
So that's our total bottom side. So then we flip it over, then we just start that whole process again.
Yeah.
So like I said, we do our paste printing, and then we start pulling. So you see these are here actually are, but you see there's, like I said, 4 heads, 2 on the front, 2 on the back.
Those things are moving fast.
They are moving.
I mean, that is insane.
You see it's just kind of sucking up the parts there.
Yeah.
All air suction.
That is crazy. All right.
Yep. So these are our biggest, best systems, but these are our smartest systems here.
What do you mean by that?
So these are all the extra digital technology here.
Yeah.
So it's actually reading how many parts are coming through, how many are used. The old ones will just keep sucking and keep trying until it's
It's actually keeping track of what's...
This one keeps track of everything.
Wow.
So we invest into our company. We invest into our processes. So as you can see, we have one of these here. Right behind you here, these are brand new capital investment that we invest into our process. Okay. So we can keep improving our manufacturing.
Wow. So these do what these do?
Yep. So that's a brand new one right there. We're adding to that line.
Okay.
So we can just keep increasing our capabilities. And so
I love it.
So once that top side is done, just a small inspection station. We keep these gaps here so we don't have to walk the full line to get all the way back around.
Oh, so that thing like moved out like a bridge to put it into the oven again.
Yep. So it'll just take that board, push it out, insert it, go back.
Wow.
So then same thing as before.
Yep.
Now we got to heat that solder.
The other side.
Get it to melt, cool it down, and now we have a complete circuit with parts and the board all connected to each other.
There they are.
So we have a few components that we still have to place through hole. So our operator here puts those few parts through the holes.
Yep.
Then this machine here actually solders just those parts.
So we're actually seeing that in real time.
That's real time there. So there's a solder pool.
Yep.
And it's just enough to where we want to cover. And so it'll come up, solder just that spot, and then come back down. That's so rad. So because we got a lot of parts we just put on that bottom side of that board, so we don't want to mess up everything we put on it. So we're only soldering just that little spot. So that's that
looks like a new machine.
Yeah, so we got all of our continuous investment. Okay. Continuous improvement. So we have another inspection machine here doing all the top side inspections. So everything we put on the top side, making sure all of that is in the right spot, soldered correctly, parts in the right place, matching IDs, anything that we need to verify that machine is doing. So then the person here is doing all of the rework. If something went wrong, any of the machines complained about something, and they just scan it, and then it tells them, hey, look at this part here. Something may be wrong with it.
It's fixing it or testing it.
Yep.
All right.
So now we're fully assembled, that board, from a raw PCB to a fully populated board, where we're fully, completely finished now. Yep. So then we take that board, now we power it up, and then we start engaging with it. So we're doing all of our tests, functional tests, power up, saving serial numbers, all of that information, all semi-automatic. So our operators just take the board, put it in our fixture.
Yeah.
They close it down, and then all those tests are run from the computer to the board. So we're doing
that's
all
what
that.
he's doing right here.
Yeah. So we're doing all that.
Panini press.
Yeah. So we're doing all that testing, all internal.
Got it. So this is your QC step before it moves on.
Yep.
Every board comes out here has been tested. It works.
Yep. So once we're done there, all of our side rails that we use to just process it down our PCB line.
Yep.
Now we need to just cut that off. So we use these laser cutters here to just cut that tab on that we use just for handling purposes.
Got it.
We use these laser cutters to just make that a clean cut, so you're not breaking it all, tearing up parts that we put on. It's a clean cut, and it's ready for the next stage.
Is that a manual process? You just shove like 100 in there and they just do them all?
It's 2 at a time. So you put one in, it'll go back there, you put another in, so it's just kind of alternating. Yep.
All right.
Yep. And so once we have that fully assembled board there, we went vertical storage here.
Oh, so we're looking, these are all finished.
Yep. So all finished circuit boards, they're ready for the next process. So we do vertical storage, so we didn't take up a whole bunch of floor space.
Yeah.
But you'll load them into the totes go in there, and it just carries them up, stores them, and it keeps track of where they are. So when we're ready for, just say a Helix job, you come over here, say how many you want, it'll bring it down or move it to the right place, and it gives you all your Helix boards you need.
I've always wanted, I'm a big kayak angler. I've always wanted these for a kayak. Push a button, rotates up, brings my kayak down. So it can be done.
Yeah, so we have
to hit the lottery.
Yeah, we have 5 of these that we store. We kind of just keep all of our different models separated, so that way we know where they're at. Operators don't have to go to each one trying to chase it down. They know this one's going to store all the Helix, that one's going to store all the Apex. So that's the end of our PCB manufacturing. So
my mind is blown, and I don't know about you, but wow. Let me know if you got comments there. I don't know if I can answer them, but maybe I can find some answers for you. But that was fun. I don't even know what questions to ask right now. My goodness.
That's the end of one process. That was a big process. I know I threw a whole lot at you there.
So how long does it take from how long is that? We just walked through it, but how long does that take?
It takes about 4 or 5 minutes.
Oh, really? To get one from PCB to cut?
Yep.
That's fast. That's a lot of fish finders. I like it. No, I don't got any questions. They're all be dumb. So you guys be like, Darren, stop asking dumb questions.
So now we've seen our PCB process.
All right.
Now we're going to go into our assembly. So what we're walking through now is on my right here is all of our production supervisors and managers.
Got it.
We stay close to our manufacturing environment. We want to make sure we're in line with our associates. So all of our production manufacturing here, all of our engineering teams are sitting here. So we're designing and collaborating with all of our groups. So we stay on the floor with them. So when we get to our assembly areas, we have everything in groups by the family. So like the Helix, Solix, Apex, Explorer. So this is our Helix assembly here.
All right.
Nobody's here, but that's a good thing because they're finished their goal for the week already.
Oh,
so
they're time off. They just get to go home.
Well, no, they actually get to go. They get to go help our other.
Oh, they don't get to go fishing. All right. Well, I'm done with my work. I get to go fishing. So that's.
But yeah, so that's where we produce all of our Helix. Come from these 2 sales here.
Got it.
So we do all the board assembly, attaching it to all of our housings, completely assembled, box it, add all the accessories, all the kitting. Yep. Then we pallet, warehouse door here, where everything, all the finished goods go. On my right here, we have all of our machine shop. So we can customize, produce all of our stations, fixtures, anything we need to help assemble our product. We can build and cut. So we have guys who's working here doing that. So now we get into our Explore area. And it's running reverse so it can hit that warehouse door there.
Got it.
So we're going to go past it a little bit, and then we'll talk about it a little more. But before we get to Explore, we
got robot arms over here.
Yeah, on my right here, like I said, we invest in technology. We love our automation. So we have our twins over here that are running our display bonding for us. So it actually will, while one is doing the RTV pour, the other one is putting the display down. So they're both working in tandem together, doing our display bonding.
But that's fun to watch.
It is. So similar situation. It's done its job for the week, so it gets to take a break.
Taking a rest.
So we don't want to go in here for our Explore, but we'll just kind of stand here.
Yeah, you got to see what's happening.
But this is our Explore build area. So we got 2 lines, and so we can build the same thing on both lines, or we can do opposite things. But start to finish, so you see the black totes here?
Yep.
That's where all the boards.
All the board, got it.
So all the PCBs come in, and we just start adding things to it. The front, the back, all the connections get made.
Oh, you got a crew back there.
We got a crew. So then at the end, you're screwing down all the front to the back.
Yeah.
And then we run all of our tests on it. Then what you see the back side of here, we actually do some sample testing just to make sure everything we've done works together. Doing a lot of communications just to make sure when we ship that product, that is a good product.
Yep.
We want our customers to be happy. So then it goes to packing, and then it's ready to go to the warehouse.
There it is.
And like I said, we're involved in traceability. We want everything to make sure it goes through all the proper steps. We want to make sure we know it passed each step, it did the right thing, it works the way we want it to work.
Yeah.
So that's our Explore area here. So this cell here is for Apex. So Apex is our
flagship.
That's the top of the line there with the biggest screen. So you need that 19-inch for your...
I do, my kayak. It'll sink
kayak.
it. I'm already over weight capacity with the 19-inch.
Yeah. So like I said, we got Apex here. So we build on the backside here.
Yep.
And then we go on our, same as Explorer, we go on our rack just to do a lot of checks and balances just to make sure we built it correctly.
Okay.
And
these are all test. The units are testing right now.
Yep.
All right.
So then when they're done here, they go down this way to get packed out.
Got it.
Everything. We do a final test just to make sure we're still good.
Yeah.
Then we do all our packaging. I'll make sure all your cables and screws and brackets and all those things are in the box.
Nothing's more maddening than getting something from anybody and you're missing one screw that you need.
We don't like that. That's what we try to avoid.
You guys got a lot of QC steps. I like it.
Yep. So on our right side here is where we do a lot of accessory packaging. So we got things that sells by themselves, things you don't just package with a full complete unit. So we're building some over here, and then this area here is all where we just package in. So we're pulling cables or pulling transducers, whatever it is you want to sell independent.
Got it. Just pulling it.
And then we have a storage here, similar to where we store the boards, but this one stores a lot of our hardware kits. So you'll have just a lot of things that we pre-kit.
Yep.
So when we're ready for that pack out, we can just pull that kit and go put it in that box.
Got it.
So it goes up and down. I can just manually.
So this is on a big old.
It is
rotating. I see.
So I can just manually move it for now, but we have it on barcode scan. So there's a computer over here. They can bring their work order,
bring it right in,
scan it, and it'll automatically just go find it and deliver it to you right here.
It's so easy.
So we've got Explorer.
Yes.
We've done Apex. We've done Helix. Now we get into our transducer. So we'll start with our best one, with our Mega Live.
Okay.
So, like I said, kind of the end because everything's running back to that warehouse point.
Yep.
So we'll get kind of right here.
We got more robots working over here.
Look, we love our robots.
Oh, you got some big robots.
So what we have is all of our assembly area starts on the back side.
Okay.
Works its way through, do all of our epoxy, and then we get to calibration here. And what we're doing is just calibrating these Mega Lives so they know when you put them in the water, they know which direction you're going, which way you're turning, what's north, south, east, west. It needs to know what it's doing. So we're just doing that calibration with the robots instead of having a person standing here waving that thing in the air and trying to get true north all day of the week, every day.
All right, it's figuring it out.
Yep. So it does all that calibration, and then it's all tied back into the computer so we can validate it.
That's crazy. You always wonder how things are made, but when you actually get in and see how they're made, your mind is blown. It really is. Like, I would have never thought. I just don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Now we know.
So then when it's just done there, we do a final test just to make sure we're still good.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of checkpoints, quality checkpoints, and then we're ready for packing. And so you see right back here, we got a whole pallet full almost ready to go out.
So you've been here for 20 years. This stuff was all done, a lot of it manually.
Yes.
Back in the.
You're correct. Yeah.
So you've seen the evolution of all these robots being installed and.
Yeah, all that used to be by hand.
Yeah. As soon as they're over here.
So somebody's just kind of standing there bumping all day.
I would imagine your quality control goes up when you start standardizing with robots.
Yeah, like I said, we invest into this facility, into our company. Our company invests into us.
Yeah.
So we have all different types of engineers. All of our production teams and engineering teams work well together.
Yep.
We want this place to be the best. So that is our tour. So that's from start of a bare PCB
to out the door
to completely out the door. You saw saw it all.
That's it. Seems like a sterile environment. I'm
So we're a pretty clean environment. We do a lot of 5S, which is making sure all the things are in the right place at the right time.
Yep.
Organization we're big on. If you're organized, you can produce better parts.
Yeah.
Everybody knows where stuff is, knows what they're doing, and we try to make that a standard.
Yeah. Being here 20 years, what's the thing you're most proud of that you had your hand in?
Thing I'm most proud of, I would say the calibration here with those robots.
Oh yeah?
That was
your brainchild?
That
You're a
is.
part of it? I like it.
Yep. So that is a big deal to be able to take that off the operator's hands. That is a sensitive part of the process.
Yeah.
And if we don't get it right, it doesn't work right on the boat. So being able to automate that, get it to where we know for sure that part is programmed and calibrated correctly every time.
It's gonna work every time.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's got to work every time. That's our goal.
Dexter, appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for walking us through that. You know, it's one thing just to get with something in a box, to turn it on and it to work. Another thing to, I don't know, I grew up with Mr. Rogers,
Gotcha.
right?
Yep.
And when they did the how it's made, like how a piece of bubble gum is made, I lost my mind.
Yeah.
So now here I am, 43 years old. These are the things I love. So thanks for walking us through it.
You're welcome. Glad to bring y'all in. Just want to show you a little bit of what we do and how we make a great Humminbird product.
Yeah, you do. Appreciate it. I am here with Mark Gibson, the Director of R&D here at Humminbird, and he's going to walk us through a little peek behind the curtain. We'll see what we can get out of him. Mark, thank you for hosting us.
Oh, thanks for coming by.
Appreciate you. This is beautiful. You guys have an incredible compound. I don't know, offices, whatever you call it.
No problems with the view here for sure.
Yeah.
No, none about that at
I
all.
would imagine having R&D right next to what looks like a boat ramp. You guys are constantly going back and forth, figuring out what to do next.
Absolutely, even better than a boat ramp. It's a boat house. It's got my boat lifted up there. All I do is go push a button on the water. You know, something comes up, we're down there in 5 minutes on the water testing sonar.
Oh man,
So, great
I love
setup.
it.
Great setup.
Want to start walking down there and talk a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I think you mentioned earlier briefly that you've been here for 30 years.
Yes.
All right, so I imagine you've done quite a bit of these. So I want to hear the spiel. This is kind of a first time for me.
So from a Humminbird standpoint, I mean, Humminbird's been the innovation leader in the industry for a long time. We came up with side imaging in 2005 was an incredible revolution in the market there. And that came from the same sort of, from the same people that are still here today in the R&D group. The R&D group works really collaboratively with the brand management, the product management. The key here is we are in touch with the marketplace.
Okay.
Just developing a technology for technology's sake, it can look really good to engineers and they can all think it's going to be the greatest thing, but if it gets out there with that consumer and it doesn't resonate with the consumer, which angler or consumer are generally interchangeable with us, because that's who our consumer is. So we want to go out there, we want to listen to them. It doesn't, I've been traveling for 30 years around to boat shows, to trade shows, to fishing with pro staff out there in the marketplace, just understanding, and I'm an angler myself, and many of the people on our R&D, marketing and brand product teams are anglers, and so we understand, and we want to develop a technology that meets the needs of that angler. So we're looking for, again, the key word is insight. We want to go out there, we want to see how people are fishing, understand, and then develop a product and a technology that they're looking for. When it gets to the market, we want them to say, aha, that's what I've been looking for. That's what we have, but you have to back that up with highly technical people that can pull off that magic. With our company, primarily, a sonar is one of the key focuses of our innovation. The other one is on mapping and cartography.
Okay.
Yes, so we have the LakeMaster.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So that's known as the best mapping product in the world. Certainly for inland anglers out there.
Why is it the best?
It's the best because the way we go about it, some companies would go out there on this lake and they just kind of run a boat up and down the middle and they get over as close to the edge as they can, but boy, you start getting into stumps and limbs, you start breaking propellers, they lose the appetite for it, and so what they want to do is cover water. So they just do it the quickest, easy way. We have a special way that we do the survey, but the real heart of the surveying, beyond all that real secret sauce, which obviously I won't go into of how we do it, but we go till we hit the bank. You know what I'm saying? We use a lot of propellers every year. We
You got a budget line item for propellers?
Propellers and lower units, because we knock a lot of them off. So I started in 2015. I actually took over on a special project, took over the LakeMaster group.
Okay.
And I knew nothing about surveying whatsoever. And like I said, what my mentality is, and many of the people at Hummingbird's mentality is, I'm not going to ask you to do it if I don't know how to do it myself, or if it's something, you know, there's some technical things you can't do. But what I did, I thought I was going to grab a book and I was going to read a book while I went out and surveyed.
Sure.
You know, I figured it was that easy.
Yeah.
And after about 30 seconds out there, I said, whoa, there's a lot to this. You got to pay attention and focus on this. But there's about 20,000 acres of water from here south to the dam.
Okay.
I went out on a boat, kind of set other things aside, and I surveyed that entire area of that 20,000 acres. Went into every slough, every creek out there to understand. But that, you know, long answer to the short story, but we go in there and we put forth the effort to make sure that, because people don't fish out in the middle of this lake. You know, in general, anglers don't fish out in the middle of the lake. They're looking for structure, they're looking for
stump fields, all that stuff,
those kind of things, and they need to understand that mapping, and that's what LakeMaster gives them with high accuracy there.
How many lakes are found on those LakeMaster? I know you guys sell cards. I know you sell it with the units on some of the units. Are we talking tens of thousands of lakes across the country?
About 13,000 lakes that we've gone out and surveyed. So we obviously, there's some that we use government data. If it's there, it has a priority level. But on the big high, like Lake Gunners, Lake Mille Lacs up in Minnesota, those kind of lakes, every one of those we've hit and covered every square foot of those lakes there. Put in that big investment that pays off with that angler. But if you ask an angler anywhere in the country, they're going to tell you that LakeMaster is the best out there.
That's awesome. So out of the last 30 years, I'm curious, what is the thing coming out of Humminbird that you had your hands on that you were most proud of?
I think side imaging has to be that, because that Humminbird was in a really bad place. You know, in a really bad place. We had very little innovation. We were a distant third, maybe even fourth in the industry out there, and we came out with that side imaging. I went to a show. I saw a big $1 million system out there, you know, and just saw the images from that, and I said, man, if we could take that general technology and put it on a bass boat and show people, that would just kind of rule the world there. So the 360, the people that use the 360, it's just, you cannot pry it out of their hands. And so what we find out is, like, side imaging is a main boat system. You go and buy a product off the shelf and it's got side imaging built into it. It's the main line. What we find with the 360 is almost an accessory. You don't go buy a 360 with a whole screen and everything. You have a unit already set up on your boat, and we find that you don't get as big of a number of sales off of those accessories like that. And so there's many people that still haven't understood or actually discovered the real true value and excitement of 360. So that's a product that continues to grow, but it's an insane product is how good it is.
I like it. So your latest units coming out of Humminbird, are they going to be your Explorer units?
The Explorer is the latest right now, and it's a really awesome system, It was coming off of what was an incredibly successful product called Helix. Out in the market, Helix was a never break, reliable, easy to use product, but the technology had been around, the insides of the unit had been around for so many years, and we kept upgrading it, and finally we said, we've gone as far as we can go. We need to come up with some new architecture and rebuild this thing basically with new technology inside of it. But boy, that was a challenge because people loved the Helix so much. But man, we came out with Explorer, and I would say we nailed Explorer. It is really good. Actually, my boss, the head of our company, was out on the water with him yesterday showing him some new technology, and he said, this Explorer really is good, you know, as everybody. And I said, and I went through the same kind of spiel with him, and I said, we nailed it because we brought all this new technology, this new capable architecture we can build on in the future, but it's even easier to use because it has the touch screen, which Helix doesn't. Some units we've done in the past, you know, have been actually too complicated for our angler, and they died or were not successful. But Explorer will not die because it is the touch screen, along with the easy architecture we put in there, makes it incredibly easy to use. And that's one thing that you can't overestimate the importance.
Yeah, intuitiveness.
A lot of times in the industry as a whole, we put in feature after feature after feature after feature, and the angler just wants to take a vacation or on his hobby, he wants to go out there and just fish with the product, and that's what the Explorer does.
It's got to be intuitive, or
it's got to be very intuitive. You can't say, oh, you can know all this by reading the manual. No, that doesn't work. You need to be able to go on there and either right then, right there, or bring a friend on the boat, and the two of you, go, look, it's this easy, click, click, click.
No, I make a living off of reading the manual and creating YouTube videos about it. People don't want to read the manual. They want someone to show it, or they want to intuitively be able to, like an iPhone, right?
And
hop on there and make it happen.
I guarantee you, we could walk on with the boat with the Explorer, and you could do it solely by yourself. In 20 or 30 minutes, you'd be totally proficient with it.
Yeah.
Or somebody that's used it, like I could go on there and show you, in not reading a manual, not going deep in menus, everything's right there at your view. I can show you in less than 5 minutes, and you'll never need another hand on using that unit.
I like it. All right, so I'm going to ask you a question you might not be able to answer, which I'm totally fine. I'm a podcast host, so I ask people questions they can't answer all the time. All right. But I've had conversation after conversation. Of course, AI is coming on the scene. I'm always curious of how or when AI meets fish finders. What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, and we are definitely using AI. There's no doubt about we're using AI. Just in a general sense, if you were to watch any business channel, everybody's asking, where are all the programmers going? Are the programmers going away? That's certainly not our plan, and it seems like that's not many people's plan, but it augments those programmers because we can use AI to optimize code. We can use it to write code. It's never going to write perfect code, but it gets you on the path.
Okay.
It makes you it takes our engineer and makes them much more efficient and much more effective out there. But we're using it not to write code. We're using it to do advanced features for us. And
okay. How long does it take to get something from ideation, like an Explorer unit, to available to the public?
It can really vary. In our industry, I would say that the cycle is typically 3 years.
Last question, because we're heading back up to the R&D building, which I can't get in. I tried, guys. I tried. So we got the next best thing over here. We got the director of it all.
Thanks.
What's the number one question that you get that I didn't ask yet?
The number one question from anglers, you mean?
Yeah, it's people have your ear. Like, hey, I've been wanting to ask you this for a long time, and I didn't ask it yet, but typically a question you get.
Yeah, like I said, so I guess maybe not exactly the question, but in the form of, what can you do to show me more fish? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Anglers want to see fish.
Number one problem.
Number one problem. Now, the big problem, if we could solve it, is how to get them when I can see them to bite.
Bite, right?
That would solve. We would really rule the world if we could do that.
I love it.
But the one to just kind of get off on a little bit of a tangent. There's so many people that go out fishing the first time.
Yeah.
And they have no idea what they're doing, and they have a really bad experience, and they're done. You take your kid out one time, you catch no fish, you get no bites.
Well, they're not going again.
They're not going again. And so that's one thing we've got to do, along the lines kind of what you were saying, but we've got to create products that help make that first time experience a good experience.
I appreciate you.
Good deal.
I think we've used a good 30 minutes of your time, but
good deal.
Bro, thanks you so
have
much.
A good day. Appreciate
you have a good one.
Bye.
All right, guys, we have moved into a different building. I am here with Rhonda Green, Director of Service for Humminbird Fishing, or Johnson Outdoors, really, right?
Yeah, Johnson Outdoors Fishing.
All right, so love for you just to walk us through. What do you guys do here?
Okay, great. This is our repair department where we handle all of our consumers who have defective products, have them return their units to us to do component level repairs.
Okay.
So we don't, unless we absolutely have to, we don't swap units out, because really people like to get their own product back.
Okay.
And they've got waypoints and things like that on it. They want to make sure they get those.
Want that back.
Yeah, they want to get those back. And so, we do our best to repair absolutely every unit that comes in the door.
Yep.
When repair comes in the back door, they're all handled individually.
Okay.
And so right here, Miss Shirley is the person who actually processes all those incoming units.
Yep.
And she breaks them down individually. She puts them in a brand new box. And so then she separates the units. By the time type and puts them on these outer rollers, okay?
Got it.
And then as those units move down the roller, a technician on either side will take one of those units as it's available, ready for them to work on, or when they have an open time slot, and they will work on each unit individually.
Okay.
And again, like I said, we do actually do component level repairs.
Down to the PCB.
Down to the PCB.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we do. And
which I know all about now. You just went through the manufacturer.
Yeah, and then before we ship it back out, it actually goes back through our entire factory test.
Oh, okay.
Again, just to make sure everything's working and testing the way it should be. If the unit comes in and it has older software on it, we will update the software to make sure that they have the latest and the greatest.
Well, that's nice.
And that will make it, if they have a boat network, then it makes everything work together better.
Love it.
After a technician has handled the repair itself, then we package it back up and we ship it out the door. And I mean, it's just really sounds simple, but that's, you know, we just try to do the best we can at getting somebody their unit back as quick as possible. And
do you have like goals against those turnaround times and stuff?
We do.
I'm sure you do.
We do. And so like right now we're averaging from the time it comes in till the time it goes out to the door, the average is 2.1 days.
Okay.
So
that's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Considering it's got to go through all of this.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, that's primarily the process.
How many cracked screens from like jigs come back here?
I have no idea, but it is a lot.
Boom.
It is a lot.
The majority of what comes back is that lure that gets caught and then you send it 100 miles an hour into your screen.
Yeah, we do have that happen a lot. We get a lot of those calls that are, for those people calling, it's kind of painful to admit that happened. So yeah.
Got it. What is the warranty like with Humminbird? How's that work?
It does depend on the product itself, but Apex has, if they register their product, it has a 3-year warranty. Explore, if they register their product, it has a 3-year warranty.
I'm picking up on a, if they register their product theme here.
Yes.
Make sure you register your product, it sounds like.
If you don't register it, then it has 1 year less.
Okay, so it makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah.
It's good to know, right? The more you know, get out there, register your product. What is the like #1 reason something comes back? Is there like a common theme? Or is it user error? Is it like...
Well, we try to eliminate...
100%.
We try to eliminate the user errors up front.
Yeah.
That's why we have a team upstairs that does troubleshooting.
Yeah.
And I would say that our most common phone call is no power. And so...
What's the most common solution to that?
And the most common solution to that is making sure you have the right gauge wire, making sure you have a great battery.
Have the right volts.
Yeah,
usually
exactly.
It's downstream somewhere or upstream somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And not always. Occasionally, you know, you may have a component that fries or something, but most of the time, those no power issues are
external to
on the I would say on the boat, not necessarily an installation problem or a boat manufacturing problem, but it just ultimately, like if you have your boat in storage for the winter, and you get a little muskrat or something crawling around on the inside there,
and some wires, making a little bed for himself.
Exactly.
Yep.
So we get a lot of those phone calls March, April, May.
Yep. Here. So it's coming.
Yes,
they're coming.
It is going to be soon.
I like it. All right. We are where we came in here, but you're mentioning something. I wanted to get it on camera. So kind of a unique to how you guys are situated here in Eufaula.
Yep. We are right on Lake Eufaula, or also called Walter F. George, and we get a lot of traffic from the lake. We are here to help support fishermen who are having issues while they're on the water here in Eufaula. We are here for them to do repairs if they need them, or if they hit a stump and they knock a transducer off. And
makes it real easy.
Yeah, we try to.
So pull up. You guys got boat docks?
Unfortunately, no, but it's close enough to a boat ramp that they can.
Guys, let's pull up, roll over here. They come in here and they. Here's the thing I broke. Help!
Exactly. And in the summer months, you see a lot of boats sitting out.
I bet. I like it. That's unique. It's pretty sweet. All right. Employees only. This is some of my favorite places to go.
So this is our contact center, and we have not only on-site agents, but we also have some remote agents that are located throughout the U.S.
Okay. Different time zones and stuff like that?
Yeah. So everybody on our staff is located in the U.S. We don't do any outsourcing. We handle at this location between voice and digital content. We handle around 200,000 contacts a year. Okay.
Oh, here we go. Got the help center.
Yeah.
right.
So I just want to make sure that, I explained to everybody that this is not just a help center for Humminbird. We have a help center for Minn Kota. We also have a help center for Canon.
Typically never want to do these. I'm always looking for the live chat function, only because I never know the turnaround. It's like, this is going to go to some ticket system, and then maybe in a week and a half I might hear back from, what's your turnaround time on something like this?
On our turnaround on this, our goals are to have 75% of it answered within 48.
40 hours. All right.
Okay.
There you go. So now you know.
So,
If you utilize
And
this.
that's the average. So
Sure.
some of them are longer, some of them are much shorter.
Sure.
So.
So when would you recommend someone to call versus fill out the form versus live chat?
Everybody wants to call us on Monday, and I don't blame them. Don't get me wrong, I don't blame them.
They got the fish-
They're
they
fresh
broke
off the
everything this
water.
weekend, yeah.
They know what happened, and they can remember it a lot easier on Monday than they probably can on Friday.
100%.
But I would just say, if you're going to call us on Monday, please be patient, because that's the main thing, is that everybody has the same thought in mind.
Yeah.
And so, just being patient and knowing that you're going to have to hold is the key.
Yep. So little hack, wait till Tuesday. There you go. Or be very patient.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you have one or two people here. You got a
No.
giant room.
Yeah, we have
full of
30 something people
Yeah.
that in total, in excess of 30 usually.
Yeah.
But
you make an investment
yeah, absolutely.
in this to take care of
Yes,
people.
we
It's
do.
obvious, but there's a large volume of fish finders out there.
Yeah.
And people using them hard. So
Yeah, exactly.
all right. What's the best time to call for someone who's like, I don't have any time?
Actually, the best time is Thursday.
Thursday. There you go, folks.
Yeah. So that
Thursday.
dynamic will all change here.
There you go. Now, call Monday. How important is Humminbird to the community of Eufaula? How long have they been here?
Okay, so we've been in business for 50 years,
Okay.
or over 50 years, and this facility has done nothing but grow since I started 38 years ago. So the size of Eufaula is like 13,000 people, so you can imagine a really, the population, and they want to work here.
Yeah.
It is a place where people want to work,
Okay.
which is great news.
Yeah.
And but it's really important to the the vitalness of the community itself.
Anybody like drive their boat to work? That would be pretty amazing.
I think if they worked at the building down the hill, they might, but I don't know that anybody
If
does.
I worked here, I'd be taking my fishing kayak to work every day. Well, there you have it, folks. That is Humminbird. So I don't know about you, but I am jacked. I love knowing how things work. Hopefully you guys got a lot of your questions answered. If you don't, just go to the customer service page, right? But if you have a question, you're like, hey, you didn't cover this, Darren, I want you to write that question in the comments below, and I will work with Humminbird to get an answer for you. Thank you guys for watching. Here's a video the robot algorithm thinks you're gonna love next. See you guys.